Switzerland is one of the top places for insurance and reinsurance. But what are the differences between the two, and why is the country a leader in the industry? Welcome to Finance.Swiss. I'm Tanja König, and today I'm speaking with Sergio Ermotti, chairman of Swiss Re. So Sergio, in a nutshell, what is reinsurance and how is it different from what we all know, which is insurance?
Well, in a nutshell, a reinsurer is insuring insurance companies. So we are a B2B business. What we do typically is we take excess risk insurance company don't want to take on their own. And in that sense, we provide relief to their balance sheet and make it easier for them to serve their clients. The best example is probably the last one we faced, a meaningful one, was the COVID, where our industry suffered billions of losses, and those billion of losses were relief to our clients, the insurance companies. And by doing that, we made them comfortable with the ability to navigate a very challenging environment, and in turn being able to give competitive pricing to their clients. So in a nutshell, our role is really to not only to provide capital in very, very difficult times, but also through solutions and risk transfer solutions, we are providing a better way to manage the risks for our clients.
And then in the introduction, I mentioned that Switzerland is a highly successful place for reinsurers. Why is that?
Well, actually, yes, for reinsurance companies, Switzerland is the third largest player after the US and Germany. Well, typically, we enjoy all the benefits of Switzerland, stable political system, very good infrastructure, very strong and credible regulation. In addition to that, we have a very liberal labor market that allow us to really attract and retain talents, experts that are very key in our industry. And in addition to that, I would say we have also very strong and excellent capabilities coming from the universities. So we have access to new talents, particularly in the areas of IT, digital capabilities, engineering, mathematics, actuarials works. So I think it's very a good place. Last but not least, we have also been at the center of Europe, and with very good infrastructure, it's very easy to come to Switzerland and to fly out from Switzerland in a convenient way. So, in a nutshell, is a reflection of the rest of the country successes.
And what are some of the challenges that the reinsurance industry is facing currently?
Well, the typical are not much different than I would say many other sectors nowadays. I would say that first of all, we are still confronted with the aftermath of the pandemic. So the second order effect of the pandemic has still to be fully understood, and I would say that inflation is also a big issue, and of course in everything which is non-life portfolio, we are definitely going to face most likely an excess to the inflation assumptions that we have in our models, at least for the short term, in the fact that all claims will be inflated by these developments. And I think that also clearly the outcome out of the crisis coming from Ukraine and Russia will play out into the economy. If the economy is not growing, less people probably will need insurance coverage, and in turn, insurer will need probably less reinsurance services. So, in a nutshell, you can see they are all related to what we see every day on the news.
So absolutely a few challenges. Let's talk about opportunities. Where do you see these?
Well, the world has become even more riskier than we thought only a few years ago. And in that sense, I do see the need for many people to take on insurance. People are more risk aware at individual level, but also companies. And as we see in the next 10, 20 years, GDP will continue to grow. We are quite positive that once we get out of this phase, GDP will continue to grow at 4 or 5% a year, and therefore you will see the insurance sector benefiting from that. In addition to that, the fact that we are able more and more to use data and to analyze risks, to be much more focused on the way we take risk and we price risk, will allow us to enter into new frontiers in respect of how we manage our business. Digital is also helping a lot of people who have no access to insurance, people that typically are coming out of poverty, going into the so-called middle class. They have some things to lose, and they are more likely to take on insurance. And therefore, I see the macro trend supporting our industry being very, very strong.
Good. So there are exciting times ahead as well. Thank you very much, Sergio Ermotti, for your time.
Thank you.